Welcome to the channel. I'm Evan. This is Origin Painting, and this is how I painted the Blood Angels for my first founding series. The first founding is a project that I've been working on for about a month and a half now. I'm painting my way through all the Loyalist first founding chapters, one Marine at a time. Now that I'm done with the Blood Angel, I've got 2 models left and a display base. Granted, I have no idea what I'm doing with display bases, so we'll see how it turns out. But that's a problem for another time. Right now, let's get this stuff prepped, let's get our camera rolling, and let's get going. To start this out, I'm going to lay down my favorite airbrush primer, Stynylrez Res Black. Then on top of that, I'm going to build a zenithal highlight by doing some grays in the midtones from about a 45, and then some whites from directly above. Then using that as a roadmap, I'm going to grab my light umber, come in and spray that into my shadows where the blacks still are. Then I'm going to use burnt red and come across the midtone. And then for the very top highlight, I'll be putting down bold pyrrole red. I'll follow that up by mixing just a little bit of golden yellow into my red and using it for a top highlight. That pushes it more towards the orange than if I had used white, which would have pushed it towards pink, and I want to stay away from that. Good red, it just pays off. It looks so nice. After that, it's brush time. I'm going to mix up some white and some gray to give myself a nice value scale here that I can work with. This is going to go onto the joints of the armor, it's going to go onto the chest eagle, and it's going to go onto the belts and the pouches. This is setting me up for what's coming next. This step right here, Black Templar contrast. By working my blacks this way, I keep it at a very dark gray, which leaves me room to shade down and to tint up. Now I know this isn't canon, this little bit's for me. I'm going to base this chainsword in yellow and have a little bit of fun with it later on. After that, I'm going to grab my silver and I'm going to be putting on a little bit of the helmet, on the backpack, and on the chainsword teeth. Next up is the first pass on the eyes. This first layer is a green. Later on, I'll be using a yellow and a white. Going back to the chest eagle, this is the perfect example of why I'm using the Black Templar. I'll be tinting my grays with some white and raising the value of it as I work towards the outside, eventually getting to pure white for a really nice pop. Then, after I have all my highlights defined really nice and crisp, I'm going to use some more Black Templar to come in and push the shadow even further. After that, I'm going to use the grays that I've already got mixed up to go ahead and edge highlight my blacks, as well as using about 3 different shades of this gray to build up a progressive layering on this pistol holster. Doing that will give me a really nice depth and feel to the material. If you're here watching this because you like Blood Angels, just know my Shelf of Shame has about 50 Marines that I gotta paint up, and pretty soon here I'm going to be doing a big batch paint video. After that, it's time to come into the eyes and lay down a little bit of yellow. Then, I'm moving back to the MVP of the show, Black Templar contrast paint. This Black Templar is going to go on the underside of some of the armor panels and create a really nice defining hard line. I'll then follow that up by doing a wash, but it's going to be a lot more selective. I'm doing small areas so I can control the final outcome and what it looks like. I really do feel like that yellow splash of color in there really helps make the model pop. Moving on from there, I'm going to start edge highlighting my red armor. In order to do this, I'm mixing my bold pyrrole red, a little bit of golden yellow, and a touch of white. I don't like to do all over highlights, so I'm just hitting some of the key areas where it's going to make the most difference. Now, coming back to my beautiful yellow chainsword, doing hazard stripes. These don't have to be the cleanest, as I'm going to come back in and put a lot of battle damage on this later on, and it'll hide quite a bit of the imperfections. Now, if you ask me why hazard stripes, I don't know, because it's fun, right? I enjoy it. I paint what I like, and this gives me just a little bit more enjoyment while I'm doing a project. Moving on to the freehand, I'm going to apologize in advance. A lot of this was done off camera because I couldn't keep it in frame, but I'm doing a stylized version of the Blood Angels emblem. The basic thought pattern here is to lay down a nice solid black, and then to come back in, start doing gray, and finish with a white top highlight. In everything I'm doing, I'm trying to get contrast, and that emblem is no exception. What's your guys' impression of these Assault Intercessors so far? Yes? No? I'm thinking they're going to have a spot. That 18-inch range pistol is just too good. Sticking with that theme of contrast, I'm going to put these gray lines on the top edges of these black slashes. From there, I'm going to move on to battle damage. This is going to be a series of white dots and white slashes, followed up by a black slash on the upper surface. It mimics a shadow, and it really helps create some volume and cheat the flat armor into looking like there's more there than there is. Then I'm grabbing white and coming back in to do my final red edge highlights. And here's that battle damage I was talking about earlier. It's going to be kind of the same idea. Putting down this white as a series of slashes, making it look like that paint's being peeled backwards from the cutting surface. Then I'm going to put down some silver on the inside and come back in and black line the outside. Very similar to how I did the battle damage. This just creates a lot of cheated texture and an effect of multiple layers of paint on this. I'm going to have to come in with my black on the edge twice just to get the definition I want, but after this, we are done. I'm pretty happy with how it came out. I really like my Blood Angel colors. These vibrant reds really go on well, and they stand out pretty good on a table. And if the reds didn't stand out, that chainsword definitely would. So, as much fun as it's been revisiting my Blood Angels, it's time to figure out which of the 2 chapters we're doing next. So let's spin that wheel, and we are doing Imperial Fists. I'll put the link up above to the Orktober project I just did, in which I did some yellow armored orcs. I'm probably going to steal that color scheme for this. If you'd like to know when that video comes out, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you liked this one, give it a like, share it with anybody you think would enjoy it. Thanks for letting me hang out with you today. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.